Let's go, y'all. Focus Daily TV. Hit that like button, subscribe. Here on Focus Daily TV, we speak about the African American, the black man, and how he, him, her, and child are the children of God, actually, and how this continent of North America truly belonged to us. It was given to us as our birthright from God. However, due to not following his laws and his commandments, we found ourselves conquered and overtaken by foreign entities. And today we're going to get a little bit more into ideological subversion, how they mentally subverted us into this lower state that we find ourselves in and created a state in which we are the slaves and they replaced us and took our birthright. We're going to watch a little bit more of this guy, Yuri, and his explanation of ideological subversion. Hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel, hashtag Focus Daily TV. All right, let's go.
Subversion is the term, if you look in a dictionary or criminal code to that matter, usually is explained as a part of activity to destroy things like religion, government, system, political, economical system of a country. And
now, if you listen closely, he's explaining exactly what took place. Being that he is one of those said foreigners, he's very well aware of the process of ideological subversion.
Usually it's linked to espionage and such romantic things as blowing up bridges, sidetracking trains, cloak and dagger activity in Hollywood style. What I'm going to talk about now has absolutely nothing to do with the cliché of espionage or KGB activity of collecting information. So the greatest mistake or misconception, I think, is that whenever we are talking about KGB, for some strange reason, starting from Hollywood movie makers to professors of political science and quote-unquote experts on Soviet affairs, or Kremlinologists as they call themselves, they think that the most desirable thing for Andropov and the whole KGB is to steal blueprints of some supersonic jet, bring it back to Soviet Union and sell it to the Soviet military-industrial complex. It's only partly true. If we take the whole time, money, and manpower that the Soviet Union and KGB in particular spends outside of USSR border, we will discover, of course there are no official statistics unlike with CIA or FBI, that the espionage as such occupies only 10 to 15% of money, time, and manpower. 15% of the activity of KGB. The rest, 85%, is always subversion. And unlike a dictionary of English, Oxford Dictionary, subversion in Soviet terminology means always a destructive, aggressive activity aimed to destroy the country, nation, or geographical area of your enemy. So there's no romantics in there, absolutely. No blowing up bridges, no microfilms in Coca-Cola cans, nothing of that sort. No James Bond nonsense. It's most of this activity is overt.
See, just trust the process. He will begin explaining exactly how ideological subversion happens, so that we can get the truth and we can become unsubverted. So just trust the process.
Legitimate, and easily observable if you give yourself time and trouble to observe it. But according to the law and law enforcement systems of the Western civilization, it's not a crime. Exactly because of misconception, manipulation of terms. We think that subverter is a person who is going to blow up our beautiful bridges. No. Subverter is a student who comes for exchange, a diplomat, an actor, an artist, a journalist like myself was 10 years ago.
Hollywood, the media, education, it all plays a major role in subverting us so that we will continue to forget who we actually are. At one point, we were well aware that this was our land and we are the children of God. Even with our ancestors and older generation, they speak of how we have Indian in us. No, we wasn't living in teepees and huts. We was living pretty much exactly how we living today. When the foreigners arrived, everything we see pretty much was already here. But through the Department of War, the military, ideological subversion, we were made to forget. And what we're doing here on Focus Daily TV is presenting the truth so that we can be made free. Let's go.
Now, subversion is an activity which is a two-way traffic. You cannot subvert an enemy which doesn't want to be subverted. If you know history of Japan, for example, before 20th century, Japan was a closed society. The moment a foreign...
Let's go over here to the Bible and read the passage from 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse, let me get to it. First Samuel chapter 8, verse 19. But the people refused to listen to Samuel. No, they said, we want a king over us. Then we will be like all other nations, with a king to lead us and go out before us and fight battles. See, we wanted to be like the foreign invaders. Instead of accepting and loving the culture that God had given us, we became attracted to their culture. This still happens today through things such as the media, entertainment. It's making us want to be more and more like the enemies of God. Let's get back to Yuri.
Boat comes to the shores of Japan. The Imperial Japanese Army politely tell them to get lost. And if American salesman comes to the shore of Japan, let's say 60 or 70 years from now back, and says, oh, I have a very beautiful vacuum cleaner for you, with the good financing, he says, please leave us, we don't need your vacuum cleaner. If they don't leave, they shoot them to preserve their culture, ideology, traditions, values intact. You were not able to subvert Japan. You cannot subvert Soviet Union because the borders are closed. The media is censored by the government. The population is controlled by the KGB and internal police. With all the beautiful glossy pictures of Time magazine and Magazine America, which is published by...
And the question is, why did they choose America, this land, our land, to practice their ideological subversion? It was against the people who the land truly belonged to, the African American, copper, tone, complexion, individuals, the children of God.
By the American embassy in Moscow. You cannot subvert Soviet citizens because the magazine never reaches Soviet citizens. It's collected from the newsstands and thrown to garbage can. Subversion can be only successful when the initiator, the actor, the agent of subversion has a responsive target. It's a two-way traffic. United States is a receptive target of subversion. there is no response similar to that one.
Well, I don't like to go too long because I know how attention spans go. So we're gonna call this another show. But yeah, you can't see the logos right here, but hashtag Focus Daily TV. Hit that like button, subscribe. Later.